What's up, YouTube?
Hey guys, welcome back. We are back here for part 2 of our pros and cons, specifically the con side of Florida. Just explaining a few things that we have found since we moved here about 6 or 7 months ago, and some of the things that people might not anticipate whenever they're moving to Florida. So we're giving you just a little bit more perspective. So the next thing that is on our list would be the weather.
So since we moved here, honestly, for the first like 4 or 5 months, it rained. So we moved here in May, and it literally rained almost every day. It was still sunny though, like, you know, it wasn't like raining gloomy, but it would rain almost every day. And it kind of messes up your plans and stuff like that. And we would ask people like, well, when's it stop raining? And the response was always like, this is the rainy season. So it was pretty much the rainy season all the way up until October.
Yeah.
Which then we rolled into like hurricane season, I think starts in August. But it was a really mild hurricane season until the end. And we had 2 hurricanes at the end. And so make sure that you take that into consideration. Hurricanes are a big thing down here, and we saw firsthand the first couple months we lived here. A hurricane came through and literally obliterated the west coast of Florida all the way through, and we have friends that literally lost everything. So just make sure that you're taking that into consideration, especially where you end up moving to. Flooding is always like one of the worst things. So just take that into consideration, because it could just honestly be everything that you have you could lose.
So one of the other things that was particularly prevalent that we didn't expect was something as mild as the fact that because Florida is a tropical place, everything is sand. There's everything that is in your yard is sand. There's no dirt. Like, everything is
unless you plant
sand.
grass.
Yes. Even the grass that you plant, you're planting it in sand.
You are planting it in sand, but you can get grass to grow. We have people around here that have really pretty lawns, but you have to do a lot of work to make your grass grow. And I'm OCD, and our dog brings in sand, and I absolutely hate it. It's probably honestly, it's one of my biggest negatives. And I'm not even joking, because I don't like sand. I hate it.
Yeah, and another thing that if you are not a bug person, you are not a creepy crawler person, Florida is not the place for you. I've never seen so many lizards in my entire life, and I have been to Africa.
And they get in our house a lot.
We get the teeny little, and honestly they're kind of cute, but we get the teeny little like house geckos and lizards and stuff, and they are on everything.
And then they poop in your house. That's how you know if you have one like living somewhere, because they'll just be like this weird like little black dots all over, and then you know like you have a lizard living somewhere nearby.
The bugs are extremely prevalent down here. The mosquitoes all day long, especially at our house, are awful, because it never gets cold enough here for anything to be killed, go dormant.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of sand, there's a lot of sand fleas, and the ants. Oh my gosh. Our yard was so covered in ant piles, you wouldn't have been able to see the grass. And we've sprayed, we've done the ant killers, we've done everything, especially because now that we have a dog that runs around the yard, and she's laid in ant piles before, and we had to come in and give her a bath because they just were all over her, and they're insane.
Yeah, and fire ants, I don't know where you're coming from, but fire ants are very painful when they bite you. And yeah, so ants are a big problem, especially if you want to like walk around your yard barefoot. You can't do that here.
You can't.
You can't. You get the sand spurs and the ants. Like, you just can't do that. So when we first moved here, it was literally like almost every month or every couple of weeks there was an alligator that killed somebody. And I'm not exaggerating, because you don't hear about that like in the rest of the United States when that happens, but when you live here, it's all over the news. And it was literally like every month. It's normally an elderly person, but then there was one person that got in that was cleaning the golf balls out of a pond, and he got killed. And sometimes elderly people will fall in and they can't get back out. So that is a big thing. If you're swimming, and in one of our videos, it was like an 10-foot alligator. They will eat you. They will eat you, and I'm not even exaggerating on that. So like lakes and stuff like that, you can't swim in them. They have it posted everywhere.
At your own risk type thing.
Yeah, so the springs are nice because you can actually see them coming, but snakes, alligators.
There's a lot of nature problems down here just because it is considered a tropical state, and as much as we want to live here, they want to live here too.
And the farther south you go, they have, I don't know if they're anacondas or pythons. They're one of those snakes, and they're a problem. I'm not saying that they'll eat you, but they will eat your dog.
Yeah, so be very mindful of that, especially if you're considering living next to the water or anything like that. It is a big thing to consider in Florida. One of the other things that was probably the most shocking thing whenever we moved down here was evidently Florida is the most expensive place apart from California and New York for car insurance. Our car insurance when we moved here more than doubled for both of us, and it was a huge shock as far as our finances.
It was really upsetting. I used to have a very reputable insurance company. I had USAA, and I got that through my dad who was in the military, and I always had really good experiences with USA. They always took care of me, like anytime that I had an accident or like hail damage or anything like that, they always paid for it, and they always they just looked after me, and I really liked them. We moved down here, and because Florida is the highest state for insurance, it was incredibly expensive, and I had to leave USAA because we couldn't afford it. It literally over doubled, and it's because you have so many elderly people that live down here, and they get into a lot of accidents. You also have a lot of people that just don't get insurance, and they're just driving without insurance. I guess it's probably a money thing, and that's insurance for your vehicle. We thought we were gonna save money by moving to Florida, and where it makes up for a certain thing like state taxes, you lose on like things like your car insurance, because car insurance here is ridiculous.
Just a couple other little things that we've noticed with Florida, and I'm sure everything is going to be different depending on what state you're coming from, but we came from Virginia, which is not known for being a cheap state but not an expensive one, is the groceries were a lot higher here. The grocery stores are a lot different than the ones that we came from. Just like we said in our previous video, the distance between grocery stores, like our nearest Aldi is 30 minutes away. Everybody knows that Aldi is the cheapest grocery store, and it's 30 minutes away. So when you're driving that far, the money you're saving on groceries doesn't even supplement at that point.
And since the only thing that we have that's local is Walmart, that means everyone in this entire area shops at Walmart, and it is so bad. You do not want to go in there.
No.
It's every day, all day.
It's just jam-packed with people. It's crazy.
So another thing that I was a little bit disappointed about when we first moved here, and this, I'm not saying that this is a general Florida thing, I'm saying that this is an our area thing, is there's not a lot of barbers that know what they're doing. They can't, I like my hair faded, and people here don't really care about that type of hairstyle. I don't know if that's a northern thing, but they all get a very similar type of haircut. Also, for some reason in Florida, like the mullet thing is coming back, especially with the kids.
Very odd.
Yeah, so anyways, I have not had a good haircut since I moved here, and honestly, I'm really upset because I feel like my hair is completely screwed up now, and I just want to shave it all off, but yeah, it sucks.
Something that's really bothered him since we got here.
Yeah,
so you want to add that to the
I have not got a good haircut, and I'm kind of hoping that when we go back to Virginia for Christmas, I can go and get one, but it's just, it is what it is now, you know.
One of the last things that we will talk about is something that was really surprising to us, specifically in our area. And again, we live in Citrus County, which is a cumulative of several different cities, is the job market. We spent months trying to find jobs, and both of us have college degrees. We spent months trying to find jobs that paid more than $12 an hour, which is basically any of your grocery stores, your fast food places, things like that. And the job market, at least in this area, was very slim.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know if you guys remember from our very first video, I started it off by, after we introduced ourselves, I said that we're moving to Florida and I was leaving law enforcement because I had been in law enforcement since I was in my early 20s. And when we moved down here, there was really nothing else to choose from. So I'm still in law enforcement.
He's back.
So not saying like anything against law enforcement. I just wanted to try something new. Like Florida was a new place we were moving to, and I wanted to try something new to see what else was out there that wasn't quite as stressful. And I'm still in law enforcement, and it's looking like, I don't know. But anyways, there's just not a lot of jobs in this area. And
the biggest things here are the medical field.
Yes.
Anywhere throughout the whole state of Florida, if you were in the
Elderly
medical field, you would have tons of options. Hospitals, nursing homes, all that kind of stuff, in-home care. It's extremely prevalent down here. The other thing is law enforcement, and they also have a big lineman, like electrical
because
crew.
of the storms.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be like a lineman or work for a power company, you will make bank. Because there are several storms every year, and power always goes out, and these guys are on standby. You're gonna work some crazy hours, but you will make bank. These guys make a lot of money. Not something that I'm interested in doing. It's a lot of hard work, and I'm getting old.
So that's gonna wrap up our cons part of Florida, but just something that we would really like to encourage people that are moving to a new area is just do a lot of research on the area that you're moving to. Look up your favorite stores, look up the things that you like to do, and just see what's available in that area and if it's someplace that you're gonna be happy living in.
Right, so check Indeed, look for jobs. A lot of people are probably gonna be retiring and coming down here, and there's a lot of beautiful places near the water, and there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do. But if you're coming down here to live, just make sure you're taking into consideration, like, you're not retired. You have to go to work every day, and things aren't completely as different as where you're coming from. So just make sure that you're looking at the job market, looking at the housing market, and just take those things into consideration.
We hope that this gave you guys a little bit different perspective about Florida, just because it's always considered to most people as being this paradise. There are some cons to it. We are just as excited to share all of the pros that we have experienced since moving down here. Please hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our pro section of the video. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.